Even the AI doesn't want to play this game. Never seen that happen before. So this is Total Driving, a game developed by ElgatoHD60s in 1997 exclusively for the original PlayStation. Some of you may know ElgatoHD60s because, well, remember Right to Hell Retribution? Yeah, same developers. Total Driving was even the first game from them, at least branded as from ElgatoHD60s, but the team technically was formed in 1987 as Zeppelin Games, developing games mainly for the Commodore 64 and Atari. In 1994, they rebranded themselves as Merit Studios Europe, mainly developing games for PC. In 1996, they changed the brand to what we know now as ElgatoHD60s, and Total Driving was their first game released in 1997 in Europe and the US. If you live in the US and know this game but not under the title Total Driving, then you may know it as Car and Driver presents Grand Tour Racing 98. In the US, the game was published by Activision, while in Europe it was published by Ocean. Yes, even Japan got this game in 1998. Over there it's known as Gekiso Grand Racing Total Driving. They somehow mixed the US and European titles together. I don't know. And was published by Atlas. Oh, and what happened to ElgatoHD60s? They defunct in 2025, with their last game being NASCAR 15 for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and PC. Now let's dive into the game. Since this is a racing game, of course, this is all you do. Racing. You technically have 6 different stages from 6 different countries. I will explain later why I use the word technically. You drive in Scotland, Moscow, Eastern Islands, which is an island that belongs to Chile, Hong Kong, Egypt and Switzerland. Well, not all of these are countries, but whatever. Still though, kind of interesting that they have chosen an island in Chile for a racing game. More racing games should invent tracks or take real ones from places that are rarely represented in games. The tracks themselves though are quite fun to drive on, but they clearly are not flat at all. Bumping around will be the norm and that will be cool, but also part of the problem as well, because the physics in here are not great even for an arcade racer. But hey, the structure of the tracks themselves are quite fine. You will drive on tarmac with different cars and on sand, also with different cars. So yes, there will be different classes in here, but this just adds to the overall issue the game has. Ultimately, there are 6 different race classes from Dakar up to Indy, but as you can probably imagine, this is a case of quantity over quality. Why? Because the different classes, while a nice idea, are not done all too well. The Dakar truck and Indy car have a common problem. They barely turn when it counts the most. And that means in slower corners, by which there are many, the wheels refuse to turn, forcing you to use the handbrake, so you essentially have to almost drift around to even make the corner. But that also leads to another issue I will mention in a bit. Or you know what, I will mention it now. Since there seems to be a delay when it comes to the braking, being it handbraking or even normal. It might be less than half a second of a delay, but still it's very significant and annoying when you are trying to brake but the car doesn't react instantly to it. And if you hate driving with the D-pad, then don't play this game because analog doesn't exist here. With these 2 cars, Dakar and Indy, are a nightmare to drive compared to the rest. Heck, even in higher speeds, the Dakar truck is the junkiest one of all to control. Now, all cars are kind of junky to control and bumping all over the road does not help at all. But again, this is an arcade racer. But even in such a genre, or subgenre if you will, Total Driving has too much junk in it. Every single car loves to snap around out of nowhere, or spins like a Beyblade. Not only that, it seems like they lose all their weight once they get hit by anything. And mind you, the AI doesn't play around. The opponents will drive onto everything and everyone to the point where the game will feel more like Destruction Derby or Demolition Racer. The cars don't get damaged at all, but damn, the AI will go ham on each other and often you will be the victim. You can try to avoid the carnage, but with controls like these, where you can easily lose control just by turning a little, then you will have a lot of fun, or get really annoyed by it. This didn't need to happen at all if Technics just focused on a single race class, or maybe even two, but not 6. And actually played a good arcade racer before developing this one. I mean, Ridge Racer already existed at the time, so they have no excuse. They even made the big mistake to do this. Shit like this is unnecessarily distracting, especially because it gets right in front of your point of view while turning. But you see, it's quite a shame that this game turned out to be like this, because there are good elements to it. The tracks are actually quite cool despite the bumpiness of them all, and well, I think it just adds to the fun. The amount of teams are quite fine, there are 8 of them. I like how each country has 6 stages and each stage gets more complex. I like how the weather, from sun to rain or even snow, will affect your driving. I also like how there are hidden stages in each country. So in Scotland, which is the first country you drive on, I was driving around until I saw something orange. Initially I thought it was some kind of glitch or something exploded for whatever reason. Weird, but okay. But out of curiosity I drove up the hill and approached the orange thing, and suddenly I was driving a different car? That's why earlier I used the word technically when I've mentioned that each country has 6 stages. Each country has one stage which is a hidden extra race, and that was quite a nice addition. In Scotland it's pretty obvious where this orange ball, let's call it, is, but in the other countries it's not as obvious. You have to search for them for a while, and they are not the same stage either. However, do you unlock anything? Maybe if you beat every single stage with a single team? Or maybe if you beat every single stage with all 8 teams? Or maybe if you find and win the hidden stages? No, you unlock absolutely nothing, and that is kind of a shame. But hey, at least there are those hidden stages you can find, so, well, there's that. Graphics for 1997 are quite fine and the soundtracks are not too bad. The sound effects are also quite nice, so for their first game as Technics, Total Driving turned out to be quite an okay game with good and bad stuff in it. The increasing challenge of the AI the further you move along in country is quite nice as well, but considering the physics, this is rather a case of the difficulty coming less from the AI, but more from the actual physics. But the AI itself drives very aggressively or doesn't even drive at all, and let me tell you, when even the AI gives up, then you know you fucked up something.